It's me, Sonic. No, it's not. It's me, Majority. But you probably think it was Sonic by now because of all the Sonic the Hedgehog content that I've been doing. Plus, I always bust out this hedgehog mug. It's one of my favorites. You know, I'm a resident Sonic fan. What do you know? Sonic! I'm sorry, I can't stop. I can't stop parodying Sonic. I blame you, Spencer. That's all your fault. Okay. Terry asks why I've been drinking so much coffee. I don't know. I enjoy it. I actually went the whole weekend without, though. Why am I just holding this here? Yeah, I could put this in. This is actually only water in there. Okay, let's get to it. All right, my last video was a Sonic video. It was a speed run for Black Lives Matter charity. Yes, that was important to me. Yes, it's still important to me. Yes, I want to reflect on it. This is like vlog status. I know. Leo's favorite video. Let's get it. Before I get there, I guess let's just throw a couple shout outs out there. A couple cool guys I've been talking to lately, all with their own YouTube channels. Ty Lord, Corey O, Virtua Bros, and another one, Hidden Game Room. I've watched like 3 of the 4 of them so far. The other one I don't really know as much, but they're all pretty cool guys. So I'll have links in the description below. So you should check them out. They're all kind of cool if you're looking for new content to watch. But with that being said, I want to talk about the charity run because I feel like it was a hit and a miss in some ways. And I think it's fine. It's fine that I didn't quite make it perfect because it was like a learning experience, and it's not like there was like a huge impact or anything. I mostly did it for personal reasons. I did it, as a commitment to myself, and I followed through on that commitment. I donated it to the 2 charities that I specified, and I'll get into that in a minute. Let me just say, first off, this was something I was excited about. It was something I had been thinking about for quite some time, was doing some kind of charitable work for Black Lives Matter at this time. And what it was, I wasn't really sure. I think that was one of the shortcomings for the stream, was that I kind of rushed the 2 charities that I picked in there. One of them was picked by my girlfriend, and I didn't quite do the research into it beforehand, but I'm here to kind of remedy that today. And hopefully you get a little information, education out of it. And I want to talk about it. Sonic, first off, about that, I've been enjoying Sonic, and so this was kind of like a culmination of playing Sonic 1 for a long time now and really perfecting it, was that I was able to do a speed run of the whole game. It's a really fun game, and on the Switch, I'm actually in the top 25 leaderboard for the Mega Play, which is awesome. You can actually go to the leaderboard, see my name. I'm really gunning for them top 10, so you can watch the video play of my speed run on the console. I think that would be so cool, but in due time. I'm not going to bombard you with Sonic content. I know not everyone likes it. I don't know if I lost subs over either doing too much Sonic or doing Black Lives Matter, which I also want to talk about. But let's just look at the data first. So this was the speed run. I did it in 43 minutes, so I contributed $43 between the 2 charities that I had listed, the Bale Project and Game Devs of Color Expo. Now, regarding kind of rushing picking the charities, I did pick this one. My rationale stands that, I think it's important for anyone who loves gaming and wants to get into a career in the field to have that opportunity. I never felt like I necessarily was granted that opportunity. My parents really pushed against me going into gaming. I think it's more widely accepted now that that's an acceptable career path to get into. And so I don't think anyone should be denied that right because they don't have the funds to go something like an expo panel. And this is a recurring thing. Every year they do this panel. It's not clear how they're doing it this year, but you could be funding somebody's trip to go to a game dev panel. And I think that's so cool. The Bale Project. Okay. This one is important for me to talk about because I don't feel like I really understood it. I kind of understood it. I kind of didn't. They have an interesting video here about somebody with an anecdote about how he was arrested for riding a bicycle on the wrong side of the street or something along those lines. And it was a complete like overblown arrest, and the bail was $500. And his family didn't have $500 to bail him out at that time. And then eventually the Bale Project came and took him out. That's part of the mission of the Bale Project. If you go to their FAQ about who they serve, is for persons who, who are low income and committing small, misdemeanors or something, and then can't pay their bail. Now, I had to look this up about what bail even means. So in New York, we've passed bail reform recently, and that happened in January. And I think it's important you understand the point of bail. I'm quoting this from an article, cityandstateny.com, is to submit a payment in order to be released from jail, not for that necessarily, but to encourage someone who's been charged with a crime to return for their court dates. Okay? Bail is not like a get out of your sentence free card. It doesn't pay for you to be relinquished of your crime. If you pay bail, that bail money is returned to you after you go back to court. So your incentive of paying bail is to avoid staying in prison in the detentionary period. So think about that, right? If you end up incarcerated over a small level crime, and maybe for something you didn't even commit because a police officer just says that he wants to charge you with something, you could be sitting in jail waiting either for somebody, some good Samaritan, to bail you out, family, friend, whatever, or you can't pay that because you come from an impoverished community. The reason that New York has passed bail reform law is to remove this incentive altogether about bail. Now it's you get charged with a small non-violent crime. You show up, you go back to the court at a later date. So when Centipede said in the stream that looters were being bailed out of prison, Sony and Nintendo of USA have been bailing rioters. First off, I couldn't source that. I couldn't find any information on that. Oh, let me show you. There we go. I have to unhighlight it. So even when I just looked up information via Google, I didn't see anything about that. But and I had to read into this, if you are arrested and then, there's no bail reform, I'm saying this poorly. If you get arrested for a crime and then you go out and commit the same crime again, there's going to be more ramifications. It's not as simple as okay, you looted, you got arrested, and then you're back on the street looting again. No, if you get caught looting again, you're going to prison, and you're going to have to pay more. I don't know the full details, but it's not like you just get out scot-free. The point of this is that bail in and of itself is discriminating people based on their economic backgrounds. And if you come from a family either where you're raising kids or you're by yourself or something, or whatever it is, you're living with brothers and sisters, or your family is targeted because you are black or because you are non-white, then yeah, bail is completely unconstitutional. I approve of bail reform. Majority approves. That's where I stand on it. And the purpose of this fund, the Bale Project, is to eventually eliminate bail and thus mass incarceration. So I've done my research on this project. I agree with it. I contributed to it. I encourage you to do the same. And the reason, I did this stream for myself, but I think too that it's important for people to be speaking out or doing similar things at a time like this, because I don't see anything in my feed about Black Lives Matter. I'm subscribed to gaming YouTubers, and granted, I get it. You want to make gaming content. You can do it, but be sensitive to the situation right now in America. And I get it, like some content creators are in Europe or Australia, but even in those countries, people are showing support. It's not like you should feel bad if you haven't done anything, but just think to yourself, how have you supported the current situation, about fighting for American rights and freedom? Centipede said one more thing in the stream that I want to point out. And, I don't know if I'm putting you on blast here. It's, again, it's not with the intent of, like, putting you on blast, but it's to have the conversation. Because nobody's having the conversation. The only people I've seen have this conversation are, bigger channels, which is great. I think it's awesome. I commend PewDiePie on having a live stream where tons of money was donated. I commend Some Call Me Johnny, who had like even just a small portion of his video dedicated to Black Lives Matter and mentioning charities that you can contribute to. I appreciate even like someone like Jay Witz, who, though he's not doing anything on his YouTube page about it, has a bunch of activity on his Twitter showing support for and commenting on the situation. Those are the main ones I can think of offhand. Oh, H3H3 Productions did a video about, his encounter with the police. So like, that's a cool vlog response style topic, and, he did a nice comparison to what it would have been like if he was black, etc., or what it's like for black communities, something that he never had to go through. And I get it. We're small channels, so you probably think to yourself, what impact do we have? But if you get stuck in that mindset, how is anything going to change? And so I did want to spotlight the thing that Centipede said that I wanted to respond to. I didn't respond to it on stream. I felt like because I was playing the game, or I was fresh off playing the game, I wasn't like fully grasping like how to respond to it. But now that I've had time to process it and everything, that's fine. How will the money stop police brutality? So the money to the charities, and that's here, by the way, that I picked may not stop police brutality, although people in prison get like just their asses whipped by these cops, okay, regardless of what crime you did, because they choose to pick on you. So first off, bailing people out of prison that shouldn't be there in the first place is going to stop brutality against these prisoners who don't deserve it. But there are charities that you can contribute to that will shape police reform. Contribute to the NAACP. Contribute to the ACLU. They're all working on legislation to benefit us, the people. I think people see this as like a black versus white thing. It's not. Police reform has been enacted so that there won't be police brutality anymore against us civilians, or so that it will at least be reduced. Okay, I got a couple examples here. I screenshotted this from Twitter. Just show you for a minute and then I'll read it. So if you couldn't read that, Cuomo signed a series of police reform bills, and he mentioned it on his page too. The first bill affirms the right to record police activity. You now have the right to use your phone in New York State to record police officer activity. And then the second launches a Department of Health study on health impacts of COVID-19 and minorities in New York State. You got other places like Boston, the mayor declaring racism a public health emergency. You have Iowa, where the Senate unanimously passed police reforms. You have Miami, the police department bans chokeholds. That also happened in New York. They banned chokeholds, and they passed some more legislation as well. New Orleans City Council presses the police chief on use of tear gas at protest, and Louisville City Council banning no-knock warrants in response to Breonna Taylor's killing. Okay? Change is happening. Change is coming. I just want you to think, what was your part in bringing it, when it comes? Did you sit and idle by and let other people do the work for you? Or did you help? It's not something that is important to me. I mean, I guess I care what you think about the situation, but I and I'm not trying to blame anyone here. I'm not trying to blame people who are not doing anything. I get it. Like, I have family members that are either scared or on the opposite side of the spectrum. So, but I want to have the conversation. I don't want to shy away. Like, I'm a big Dragon Quest fan, right? And I remember a couple years back, I wrote a petition to get Dragon Quest spin-offs on the 3DS localized. And that petition got like 500 signatures, and then eventually one came that was even bigger for Dragon Quest 7. And, would we have gotten Dragon Quest 7 and Dragon Quest 8 on 3DS if there wasn't a community of people behind getting those games localized? By that same token, would we begin to heal the wounds of Black Americans and all Americans and our rough history that we can't just sweep under the rug without actually trying to change it first? Cuomo says something every day when I listen to him. He says carpe momentum. The phrase carpe diem in Latin means seize the day. Well, carpe momentum, seize the moment. This is your time. Take it now. All right. And then I also just want to end this video by spotlighting and reading aloud some of the names of Black Americans who were massacred and murdered by the police. Say their names, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Let's go. All right. So this is from the New Yorker, and they have an awesome front cover here. Bit of a lazy approach on me, I know, but it's what it is. A close-up examination of the artist's latest cover, in which the murder of George Floyd embodies the history of violence inflicted upon Black people in America. You can read along with me. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Trayvon Martin, Laquan McDonald, Freddie Gray, Eric Garner, Ayanna Stanley Jones, Botham Jean, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Yvette Smith, Alton Sterling, David McAtee, Walter Scott, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Stephon Clark, Martin Luther King Jr., Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, March from Selma, Rosa Parks, Emmett Till, Rodney King, Tulsa Race Massacre, The Unnamed, Gordon. Okay, and the list stops there. So note, not all of them were like people who died by police brutality, but were scarred by either the police and or racism in America. With that being said, I want you to do your part. Stand up for what's right. Don't let our fellow Americans continue to get used and abused. We're past that. We got to be better. Okay, 100%. And, even something as simple as just going in the comments and explaining one way that you have shown support or would like to show support, I think will be amazing. That being said, I do love you all. I appreciate you all, and I embrace you at this time. I appreciate you for working with me. I know, like, maybe I could do these things better too, just reflecting about my process of the charity stream. I think it went well. I think it could have been better, but it's something that I can take and apply to make the next one better. So I'm really looking forward to doing another charity stream. I'll keep you all posted, and I'll also schedule it like a week in advance in the future so we can get a little more traction for it. All right. Thanks, y'all. Majora T. Take care.